Yeah, I think they've been very effective. I mean, number one, they've been used for years. I mean, at the risk of, of divulging the unspeakable, I've been when people were out of town, I used a telephone. When I needed to, I used, even though Skype is not HIPAA protected, if a patient knows and I tell them, I get informed consent and I say, we can talk on Skype because they're, someplace remote where they can only, use Skype, fine. But virtual visits are extremely helpful. As a matter of fact, one of the advantages of virtual visits, it's kind of like the old days when I was at the Chelsea Community Counseling Center as a resident back in 1979, and I used to do home visits, okay, and I do speak a little bit of Yiddish, and I would see these patients in their homes. Doing a virtual visit as a child and adolescent psychiatrist is extraordinarily powerful. Why? Because I get to see the parents, the grandparents, the kids, the dog, the pets. It's like being in the home. And frankly, I would rather do that than see somebody with masks on, halfway across the room, which I don't think is nearly as effective. Now, there are times when I do need to see people in person. If, for example, I have to measure vital signs or I have to kind of check a blood pressure or something like that, sure. But virtual visits we've been using telemedicine for a very long time. And it actually was part of the Surgeon General's recommendation to embed care in pediatrics, in schools, where the kids are, where in after-school programs, and also using telemedicine. Those were the major recommendations that the Surgeon General, as a pediatrician, made for helping to work with this epidemic. And we're not able to do it.
So we are able to do it. And just a little factoid, I've been back hybrid since August, and I have seen a total whopping 5 patients in person because my caseload, and I have a busy caseload. They said, Mary, if I don't have to get a babysitter. I can see you during my lunch hour at work. I can, it just expands the access in a way that I think is powerful. And
the no-show rate.
That's what I was just going to say. Our no-show rate dropped from 38% to 15% during 15% during the pandemic.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But here is one of these structural barriers. If I have a patient that's gone to New Hampshire because they've got a sick, relative and they're in New Hampshire taking care of them, I cannot see them even virtually because my license doesn't work where they are. Now that makes no sense.
So you do it anyway. That's what I do.
Gene, we're on a very large forum here.
Yes,
I know.
Next time I see you, ask me about my patient in Greece. Just leave it at that.
Okay.
I was going to comment on the no-show rate, which has been, when I was in residency, I was admin chief here at the MGH McLean program, and we were looking at the schedules of residents, and a lot of them had 0, no-shows. Everyone was showing up to appointments, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. It was really powerful because you see that people who wouldn't come before were coming. And especially for those who have psychosocial complexities in their lives, those who are unstably housed, those who are going through difficulties in their day-to-day lives, being able to, quickly get on either a phone call or on a Zoom, that really increases, their quality of life. And I think we need to look at what this pandemic has shown us, right? Like Gene was talking about how he was doing it back in the old days and how he, was configuring it. We need to, scale this, right? People will show if they have access, and we need to reach more and more people. And we need to look at our digital innovation and the Wi-Fi, broadband issues in this country and figure out how to democratize that access. Because as we're innovating with, telehealth care, we have to also look at the fact that people can even access that too.
Right. And I think another point to what you were saying, Lucy, is that one of the healing factors in mental health is the relationship between client and clinician. And when that's breached, care drops, health drops. Maintaining continuity of care is really super important, and maintaining the relationship. And this is one of many ways that we can actually do that.